Going live.
Oh, yeah. Oh boy, that might break things, but yeah, sure.
Hey guys, if you're watching on my channel, let me know in the comments. Wes, how's it look on your end?
So far, so good. Sound test. So if everybody can hear me, everything should be going pretty well.
Cool, awesome. Well, we have 14 people.
Unfortunately, I can hear myself. So,
oh no. Oops. We should leave this to the clone, just never do it humanly.
so that's the one thing is the one here is that, yeah, I'm hearing our live stream
oh no,
being duplicated. That's the only problem.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting comments. People can hear us. So on my end, wow, we got 50 people already. Should we just jump in, or can you? I don't want you to have to hear double the whole time, Wes. That's not fun.
Let me just see if I can somehow mute it. 1 second.
Sure. Man, I'm so excited to be here live with you guys. It's been over a year since I actually filmed the real me inside a long form video. So what? It's a miracle. I get to sit here and be with you all and hang out, and we've got a great conversation planned. Wes is hitting up ChatGPT right now. Technical help from ChatGPT.
Yeah, no, I wish there was a simple answer. I'm hearing 2 streams, and I'm not sure exactly. And unfortunately, whenever I start talking, I hear myself. You know how you can't talk when your own voice is playing with a slight delay?
That's not good. Oh
boy.
Yeah, somebody said check the mic and the speaker. Nope, I've got the mic and the speaker set up correctly.
I got my
Roger, you're headed to the first movers class. Yes.
Headphones here. All right. I do apologize. Not 100%.
Oh. Oh no. Should we do it without headphones? Do you think like just
All right. So I think we should do this for everybody. Sorry. I'm not sorry. There's a echo which makes it hard to talk actually. So I got to mute everything. But basically, I think for everybody on my channel, I think maybe can everybody jump over to Julia's stream? That might be at this point the best and easiest way of doing it. So give me 1 second, and I'll post a link down below. And Julia, go ahead and do your thing. Let me figure this out on my side.
Okay, cool. I'm just dropping it in the comments, but I'm realizing these are the comments on my channel. So if you're watching this on my channel, you're already in the right spot. But yeah, I invited my friend Wes because I didn't want this just to be a one-sided me looking at the camera for an hour just yapping at you. So I thought it'd be really fun to make this a co-chat. And first of all, I got to tell you how good it is. I'm going to try not to be emotional because, wow, how good it is just to be alive and to be sitting here in the flesh. And yeah, when you know that your life's on the line and you're fighting to regain it and you really don't have answers and you don't know what's wrong, which was me this year, unbelievable trial. Like unbelievable. And I've heard from many of you that if you've had long COVID, Lyme, mold, et cetera, you've been working from bed. I'm not the only one. And I started a new channel. I'm going to put the title of it here in the comments, Quantum Healing Mysteries, because I am sitting at my computer. Something I could not do for 3 minutes straight without feeling tremors, without feeling my heartbeat go irregular without feeling my entire left side electrical pulses start to shoot up like crazy stuff. 5 minutes on a computer. November 1st, I fired all my doctors. I had no answers. I had been Eastern, Western, integrative, functional, homeopathic. I had seen them all, and we had spent almost $100,000 to try to figure out my health. So November 1st, I fired all my doctors. I really felt God call me to do that. And in November, I went through radical healing. It was sometimes like day by day. Symptoms that I had for the entire year were leaving. And I talk about this on my Quantum Healing Mysteries channel because it gets really crazy. What actually is happening in American society. I call it like the takedown of our vitality. There's harvesting happening. There is bioelectric field. I don't even know how to put this in words because what I've learned comes from books. I've read so many books. If I showed you my book stack, I couldn't even hold it up. Two of the best books I've finished reading, almost done with, are The Invisible Rainbow, A History of Electricity, and The Biblio Diet by Jordan Rubin and Josh Axe, who both radically healed themselves when they left the medical industry as well. But if you study what's happening in America and has happened for over 100 years, it's pretty freaking crazy. In 1910, frequency medicine was outlawed. And I learned about that in the book, The Resonance Effect, which is an amazing book about radical, just unbelievable relief from all kinds of health trauma that doctors could not solve. That book is all about that. I mean, like relief in hours. How? Because if you tell your cells the resonance to, I don't know, what do you call it? The resonance to resonate at? Yeah, that would be the right word. If you tell them the right frequency, every cell, every organ has a frequency. And if you get that frequency right, you have instantaneous cellular healing. You have cellular detox. You have cellular regeneration. It's incredible. So they knew about this in 1910, and the AMA made it illegal for doctors to use that medicine on their patients or they would lose their license. And a lot of information we had, a lot of machines that scientists, that physicists, doctors were starting to build that 10 out of 10 healed a lot of incurable diseases in minutes. This rabbit hole runs really, really deep. And the only reason that I am in this rabbit hole now and I am researching this at a really deep level is because I had no choice, guys. I had no choice. I had seen doctor after doctor, and most of them were just making me worse. It was freaking insane. And I used AI to get to the root of a lot of the things I was going through. But what I've also learned recently is that Julie's a real McCoy. Think a Rockefeller. No. Good comments here. But the reason that I went through this healing and am like back at it slowly but surely. I'm building in new habits, which is really good for us. Like it's really, really good for us to learn all these things and then learn how to take health in our own hands. That's what I'm thrilled about. Like information that has been hidden since 1910, arguably for 200 years. When you read the history of electricity, you really see how far back this goes. We can now learn all this stuff ourselves and be healed at a level we've never experienced, because I'm experiencing that. I'm going through quantum healing, which I will talk about a lot more on the new channel, Quantum Healing Mysteries. Okay, I'm going to switch to you, Wes, so I don't just keep talking at the camera.
Oh, no, this
Are
is
we good?
Great. Yeah, we're great. Can you hear me okay?
I can. You don't have an echo?
Phenomenal. I don't have an echo. Everything's
thank God.
fixed. Before we started, I said, this is going to be a very chill live stream. Everything's going to go fine. And immediately I proceed to just break everything. So you're welcome, everyone, immediately. So that's what I'm here for. Provide a little chaos.
That is why I invited you. Not.
Yeah, you knew this was going to happen, obviously.
You're not invited again. I'm kidding.
Yeah. I figured this is my last time. Great meeting you all. No, but yeah, it looks like, so for the people that made it over from my channel, I really appreciate that. So I apologize about the issues. This is a notoriously difficult thing. I've seen other big streamers have issues with the dual broadcasting, dual live streaming. So it's not just us. This is like a problem. I think YouTube is trying to solve it, but they
Oh
started with
man.
mobile only. So don't get me started. In terms of the health perspective, it's so interesting because, of course, I've talked to David Shapiro. He's been having
Yeah.
some health issues, so he's talked about his journey with that. Tim Ferriss has also been talking about it in the past, and I don't know. There's a lot of things that are happening. They seem to be connected somehow. And everybody has their different theories. Everybody's kind of like testing different stuff out. Everybody has their own little pockets of knowledge about it. Um, and it seems like this whole standard idea of just like, well, just talk to your doctor. I don't know. I mean, certainly that's where everybody should start. And of course, we're not
Yeah.
medical
That's where
professionals.
I started.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that should probably be step one. But this is not medical advice. Don't listen to
By the way, yeah.
yeah. But I feel like we are at a point where it's like we need to start thinking about like what's happening, maybe sharing ideas with the understanding that we're just kind of N of one, our own what is it called? Anecdotal evidence um of what works, what doesn't. So I do want to kind of hear what you've been going through. I'd love to kind of throw in my 2 cents, what I've been trying for
Mm,
certain things. And maybe it sounds like it's completely different things that we're dealing with, but it's interesting that a lot of people that I know are affected by this
yeah.
one way or another.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. So for me, it was really, really dramatic, Wes. And I just got to say, and the comments are making me so thrilled. Julie's alive. What? Where's the clone? So as you can see, right, I've got the actual outfit. So somebody thought the outfit was a simulation. And I'm like, no, it's a real outfit. So to clear that up.
Star Trek, love it.
Yes, indeed. Star Trek costume from Amazon. Because, US Enterprise, you can't get better than Captain Kirk. Anyway, so what happened to me was really, really dramatic. And there's this narrative like, oh, it's just stress and it's just burnout that never sat right with me because of how this all happened. January 11th, I was out hiking, normal day, out hiking, I don't know, 5,000 foot elevation in Sedona. And that night I'm in the hospital, turning blue, can't breathe, can't lift my arms. Like, what the hell's wrong with me? I thought I was dying. And I had no idea why. I didn't fall. I had no injury, nothing. So, like, they run all kinds of tests. The immediate question was, like, do you have blood clots? Which I thought was strange. Why would I have blood clots? I'm 33 years old. And they found that my sodium was dropping really rapidly. So that was the only thing we had. We had that and a positive D-dimer test, which I didn't know anything about at the time. Now I've learned the only reason your body has elevated D-dimer is because you are actively breaking down blood clots. It's the only reason you would have a positive D-dimer. So I was like, okay, they gave me a sodium IV. I felt kind of better. Not like, I'm like, what even happened to me? I didn't really feel that great. Went home, went back to the Airbnb. We were not at home then. Got 2 hours of sleep, could not sleep. Felt like life was on the line. Like 2 days later, I'm in the ER and it's even worse. And they're like, your sodium's so low, your brain's going to shut down. You're going to go into seizures. You got to be admitted right now and get sodium. 5 days later, same thing. Like, I'm being sent home and I'm like, there's no diagnosis. Nothing's wrong with you except you're losing salt. And then on the 4th trip to the ER, I was diagnosed with a mental condition, that I had a psychosomatic disorder of drinking too much water. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I am the strongest person I know. I have built businesses for 13 years. I've handled teams of 100 people. I don't mentally break down. This is complete crap.
As a man, I can explain this. How it goes is I have no idea what's wrong with you, so obviously you're crazy. That's the logic there. Like, well, what else could it be?
Oh,
I'm sure
man.
that was
Yes,
the
yes.
thought process.
I know. But like, if you're a medical doctor, shouldn't it be your job to dig a little deeper than that hypothesis?
Thank you for calling it a hypothesis. Yes, that's Yeah.
I see in the comments one of the documented COVID-19 and vaccine side effects. So I think the belief I had was, oh, you don't get blood clots if you just have COVID because that's a complication from the shot. Like we know that by now. It's been documented. So I was like, I really dismiss looking into that at all. But the root of it was 100% COVID, and blood clots were starting to happen. And I did not have a single shot. So it blows my mind. And when you research what I will recommend, I won't go into it here. I have a new channel, Quantum Healing Mysteries, where we're going to talk about the causation and how to heal from this stuff, because it's crazy. I've read, like, I don't know, probably 400 hours of material at this point. But Dr. Brian Ardis, who was one of the first doctors that gave the frontline doctors, if you're familiar with that, they helped heal many Americans. He gave them the information they needed to know to help Americans heal, instead of just go to the ER, take this drug that Fauci's recommending that could cause renal failure. So he gave alternative options. But Dr. Brian Ardis talks about what the spike protein does and how it affects us. And it's like an invention. I think we're all familiar with that. Like, this isn't something that just came from nature. It's an invention in a lab. And it actually tells our body to just recreate and reproduce this new protein that we've never actually had in nature before it came from a lab, which is insane. So if you're around people that have COVID, if you're traveling a lot, which I was all last year, I was in a conference with 8,000 people, which is where I started feeling really weird. Not like, hospital turning blue, but like I felt weird. I felt something hit me. And I'm just trying to nutshell this. It's hard. Because people are asking what's quantum, and I have to clarify, quantum is not at all sitting in front of a candle doing chants to the moon. We actually have a quantum organ in our body. It's the fascia, the myofascial organ, and it wraps around every single organ in our body, and it's quantum because we cannot quantify the structured water in the fascia. We can't quantify it. We can't even put it under a microscope unless like that person's living, because when we die, it collapses. When we take it out of the body, it collapses. So it's literally an unseen realm, which quantum is the unseen. That's all it is. It's subatomic matter. So that lives in our body. So for us to think that quantum is like not legit is so like anti-science. But again, like this has been lobotomized from so many textbooks. Like Wes, I was halfway through medical school. Not once did you learn that you're a bioelectric being, but yet you have a heartbeat. You have a brain wave. Like everything is electrical in your body. But we are never taught this. And so, COVID, it mimics radiation sickness, which takes down the voltage in your cells. But no doctor will ever tell you this, because I think even the doctors have been misinformed so much that this knowledge just isn't even out there. And I had to go through frequency medicine, which is, I talk about this on the other channel. This is one of the things I've used that was like the single most radical cure for me. It's a sublingual spray. And it's the frequency of 44 Mediterranean plants. And it took a team of quantum physicists 50 years to learn how to pull the frequency out of plants, not the protein, the frequency. And that's what I used to heal. And that like became the only food I ate for a whole month. It was insane. And like I saw radical healing every day. But like I've had, I know like I see a lot of comments on my channel, like, if you believe in God, you believe in a sky fairy. And I'm not going to get into that here. Like your beliefs are your beliefs, right? And I respect that. For me, I believe in God. I believe the word of God is true. It backs up science incredibly. And when we talk about like the spoken word of what we even say, that's a frequency. So if we believe and say we're going to die, if we believe and say we're going to be sick, if we believe and say my back's killing me, like those things have actual power over us, right? And like Harvard recently released a study that showed inflammation dramatically went down just because of what we said over ourselves. So frequency works in many ways. It works in what you say. It works in what you take. And I see comments that sounds woo-woo. Listen, I was the person that was like, frequency and quantum is completely stupid. I'm going to stick to juicing. I'm going to stick to my turmeric tea. I'm going to do my IVs. And none of that worked. In fact, most of that made me worse. And who gets sick
Yeah.
from COVID except old people? I thought that too. Like, Wes, your turn.
There's so much here, and
There's so much.
yeah,
Oh man.
I'm always, there's so much stuff we don't know. This is all new to me. So I apologize if I'm looking over to the left. I'm trying to understand that you mentioned the D dimer test, which is of course, yeah, if your body's breaking down blood clots, it helps rule out things like thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, stuff like that. So yeah, and there was a lot of that. It seemed like it was happening after COVID or after the lockdowns, whether that was because of COVID, some side effect, or that was because of uh, something to do with the shot. It seemed like there was, I mean, there's a lot of controversy about this stuff, but it did seem like something was happening.
I don't want to
Um,
ever have talked about it or even been a part of it. I avoided it until I got this sick and nothing worked. And then I
y-
was forced to learn it.
did you get the shot or no?
No.
No. So
Which
you
blows
you
my
had
mind.
you had those the D dimer positive test, even
Yes.
though okay.
Without the
Uh
shot. Not one of them.
yeah. So one thing that recently it's interesting because I've kind of been looking at it from my side, and we haven't talked about this, so we're kind of both approaching it from two different angles. But I know, for
Which I
example,
love. I don't want just
yeah,
one angle here.
y- and I think it's definitely helpful because you see how many different people are looking at it. So I mean,
Mm,
Tim Ferriss recently has been talking about it because he had Lyme disease,
yeah.
and it was very weird how it showed up and whatever. So, and he tried a lot of different things. He talked a little bit about keto because some of it has to do with glucose metabolism. Some people are saying it seems like depression is also can be viewed as not processing glucose metabolism in the brain and not working as effectively. People have been seeing that as part of kind of like long COVID as well. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's happening that we don't fully understand where it's coming from. I don't know because a lot of different people have different opinions. What triggers it? I think for a lot of YouTubers and people that are doing this work for whatever reason, I think the stress of doing that repeatedly just flares everything up. So it's like you have some issue and then you kind of put into some stressful environment and stuff starts breaking down. Because I mean, just looking at you having symptoms, David Shapiro having symptoms, so many different people.
Yeah.
Um,
The
I've
more I've
had
studied that, I think that comes from exposure to electricity and the radioactive, just the microwave matter that's in computers and cell phones that we are completely not aware of. And the Invisible Rainbow talks about this. Like the studies and the research on that was completely thrown away in favor of let's just spearhead wireless technology at all costs. And
mm,
it's documented in that book. There's over 500 studies he documents from like people that studied plants and the radiation effects on plants and the sun versus 5G and people that started to work on the electrical system and why they all had chronic fatigue and why they all had all these symptoms we have today, but we've
mhm.
never made the connection to electricity. So that's why I think that's my theory as to why a lot of the YouTubers and the content creators are getting hit because I had my computer on my lap. I was the person that was like, "Oh, you're crazy. This thing isn't hurting me." And I was like addicted to it. I had it in my hands all the time. But when you actually study the effects of that on the body, which is a bioelectric field, then you realize there's more effects than I think we even know. And how that plays into the spike protein and long COVID and 5G, which we've never had in America before, now going up on almost every corner. When you study just the trifecta there, there is a health effect that like it's going to happen and it's just a matter of time.
Interesting. So help us understand because some people are asking. So yeah, one person saying like grounding helps. I've heard there's benefits to that. So maybe it has something to do with that. But there's we're talking about like vibration. I've looked into red light, vibration plates, and this frequency based healing. Is that similar, different? What are we talking like? Because you hear about like vibration plates, red light, and which you last time we chatted, you recommended a device that was some sort of frequency device. So maybe can you tell us about that?
Yes. Yes. Well, my first, like the first sign of healing from the frequency realm came when I had a friend back in, I think it was June. That was like, I went through 2 years of mold. No one knew what was wrong with me. And I have this device. It's a Tesla coil that gave me back my health within a year of using it. And I was like, I was desperate. Nothing was working. I was getting worse on the IVs the doctor was giving me. And so I was like, okay, I'll come over and try your Tesla coil. And this creation is called the AMP coil. And it was made by somebody that had spent over $500,000 on trying to cure Lyme's. And after 10 years, they told him he had 2 months to live. Lyme was going to take his life. And they had nothing else they could do for him. And if you're familiar with RFK, he's in the Senate and the House right now saying the gaslighting on Lyme disease has to end. My whole family's had it. It's a real thing. And if you study that, that's also a man-made invention. It's not a natural disease. So when I used this AMP coil, it was the first time, and things were getting really bad when she invited me over. Like I couldn't lay down at bed at night to sleep. The idea of sleep terrified me because of what was happening at night. When I would lay down, it was like something in my body accelerated. My heartbeat would go crazy. My head would hurt. I would have all these pulses on the left side of my system. And I just would lay there in fright. Am I going to die in the next 5 minutes? That was my thought. And if I didn't have the hope of God and his promises, which say, I will keep you till old age. That was my hope. And I was like, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die. I believe in a creator that loves me and made me and has greater for me. But it was moment by moment. And so when she gave me the opportunity to try this AMP coil, which is this device, it's a big wire inside of a fabric that you just put on your body. And then you run one of the 300 custom codes that speak to the cells in the organs in your body. And so when I did the first one, we didn't do any of the detox codes because my system was so weak. I could not handle another detox. When I ran I think it was organ support or it was the nervous system relaxation, something immediately changed with my heartbeat. I was laying there and I was like, this is the first time my heartbeat has calmed down all year. It was unbelievable. And then I got on my phone an hour later and that whole calming thing went completely away. And I didn't sleep again that night. So I was like, what is this? So I'm learning this stuff, not because I want to. I don't want to admit EMF and phones are dangerous. Goodness gracious, it's how I work. But I experienced it in the bioelectric fields of my system. So then I went back, used it again. Eventually we bought one, but that's a $10,000 device. That's not available for most people. So I'm like, there's got to be something else out there. Right. And it wasn't it was helping me, but it wasn't giving me this breakthrough. I was still sick, but it was helping me sleep. It was the thing that helped me get back to sleep again. It was, thank God. If you don't sleep and then you stay sick, that's really, really hard. That's kind of a death trap. So then I just began to research quantum and frequency medicine. And I was looking everywhere. I was researching Facebook groups. I was buying books on this, listening to podcasts. And that's when I came across this company, New Tracks, which is really questionable. Looks like a complete scam. It sells a product through MLM. And I'm just like, I'm not going to do that. But it was my miracle cure. And it was the frequency of these 44 plants. And every day I took it in November was just radical healing. And they have stories from over, I think, 50,000 people of similar scenarios. I can't even share them. I can't share these testimonies because there are those people's to share. And if I was to share them live, this stuff gets blocked and banned because of wait a minute, you never need to see the doctor again. You can experience immediate cellular regeneration whenever the resonant effect is in place. What? Well, why do we need $1 billion drug industry again? So there's huge reasons why some of these products look like scams. There's major reasons why. Yeah, I see in the comments. Most of the times, the things that work often look fake. I mean, I had a friend that said, if the FDA is behind it, I won't do it. I'm starting to be on that lane. But the frequency plant medicine, it is available and it's under $400. So I was like, finally, there's something that works in the frequency world. And then the other huge thing that kind of restored my brain and brought me back into equilibrium were really two things. Something called FSM. Have you heard of that, Wes?
FSN, what's that stand for?
Frequency specific microcurrent.
No.
Okay. So it's a little device. It's usually from a company called Mend Technology. It's like this big. And you have little electrodes that go on your back and your abdomen. And it speaks to concussion, brain trauma, cell danger response, which is activated when we go into mitochondrial fatigue. So it speaks to all these things happening. I know I see in the comments that thing's an MLM. That I will tell you, this remedy sat on my shelf for 2 months. I was like, I'm not taking it. It's from an MLM. It was incredible how much it worked. But back to FSM. So that was one of the first things that really calmed my nervous system down. Like I would, before FSM, and you just do like, it's a 30-minute session and it's electrodes. It's sending tiny little pulses to your cells that tell your cells this is the correct hertz to resonate at. And immediately I did it 5 minutes. My first 5 minutes of doing it, I had like this cellular detox happen. I slept for 12 hours. I drank so much water. It was unbelievable. Like little tiny electrodes. What? Like worked better than any IV, hyperbaric chamber, oxygen therapy. I couldn't even do red light, like sauna, forget it. I couldn't do any of those things. I was so weak. My body was just like resisting all of it. So FSM was really gentle and restorative. And the other thing is a vagus nerve. Our vagus nerve is really taken down by what's happening with COVID. Like it's a major target of COVID is the whole vagus nerve, which affects your brain, your sleep, your gut.
So I definitely want to come back to that because that's another thing that's recently kind of popped up. And I do want to talk about that. Just wanted to quickly notice one person recently in the comments said something about the fact that Lyme disease had some overlap with electromagnetic frequency, which, and I quickly looked it up and I apologize. Like I'm looking off to the side. I'm here to kind of learn, and because a lot of this stuff is this stuff is, I'm here to learn because I'm hearing a lot of different stuff. A lot of people are talking about stuff that they wouldn't have 5-10 years ago. You know, with the vagus nerve, I do want to mention that. But no, there's an actual study that these ticks that carry the Lyme disease, if you radiate somebody with an electromagnetic field of a certain radio frequency, then those ticks are more attracted to those areas of the body, to the irradiated areas. Like I can post this article, Science Direct. That's weird. I mean, I don't know if it necessarily.
Plum Island.
What is that? I don't. Okay,
I'm not gonna explain it.
I'm out of my depth. But one thing is, you know, recently Tim Ferriss was talking to somebody that did a lot of research into the vagus nerve, right? And I guess that's related somehow. And I apologize again, I don't know too much about this stuff. But Tim Ferriss, he's always so careful about to make sure that he's all about science. So like for the first like 20 minutes, he's like, and I wouldn't have believed it, and I understand that he has to give all the disclaimers, but he's like but it worked, right? And then he's like, but this worked. And then they sat down and talked about that. So, I mean, maybe for people that like myself are just beginning to hear these words and kind of get introduced to them, what the heck is that? What does that have to do? And does that have to do with these vibrations or anything like that?
Yeah. So your question is specifically like, what does the vagus nerve have to do with the vibrations?
And what is it? And what is it? What is that?
Wild. Yeah. I've been in a hermit hole. You guys have to realize, and I think a lot of you do, you know, I've been in this hermit hole of 11 months where I couldn't like even get my voice on a microphone. I was so sick. Like it was crazy. And it didn't feel like sickness. It felt like actual malfunctioning and breakdown. And just to address a question here, SGB, so a ganglion block, that's where you actually have an injection that goes in with an ultrasound. Someone's looking at it. They shoot your nerves and they actually block your nervous system. It's like, it's a way to calm down the nervous system, but it's an actual, like it tells your nervous system to stop working. And I'm not a fan of anything like that. Like if you have to pull something out, tell your body to stop doing something, I think you're going against intelligent design, because our bodies were made so incredibly, they can regenerate, they can self-heal. Like, we were built with all of that. So I was really careful not to take anything that was unnatural, anything that was a prescription. I was desperate. So I did try a prescription for the adrenals, and it made everything so much worse. It was crazy, crazy, crazy. But going back to the vagus nerve, so somebody here said it's the parasympathetic nervous system. Vagal tone is actually how you know if your nervous system is responding well. And what that is that's the ability of the vagus nerve to respond to stress. So the vagus nerve runs from your head to the bottom of your guts, and it controls everything. Your heartbeat, your blood pressure, your brain waves, your gut, and it takes the information in your gut back to your brain. So if your gut's messed up, immediately hits the brain because of the vagus nerve. So COVID affects the vagus nerve, and I don't want to get into all of the COVID stuff here because that's a rabbit hole, and I go into that. I just did a live stream on Monday. You guys should definitely watch on Quantum Healing Mysteries, where I talk about like how the spike protein, the DNA tests that have been done on the actual spike protein. Like, we're talking the science of this stuff. What does the DNS test show? Where did that thing actually come from? Was it rats? Was it fish? Was it bats? Like, where did that thing come from? You need to watch that live stream. So I talk about the actual DNA tests, which were done in Italy and France. But back to the vagus nerve. So COVID really affects the vagus nerve. It's a huge stressor. It creates an oxidation. So your cells go into oxidative stress. With COVID, it's not a normal virus. It mimics a virus, but it's not. Again, you've got to watch my live stream on Quantum Healing Mysteries for that one, because that one gets crazy. But it mimics something that it's not. And it creates just a cellular response that your cells go into danger. And so what that does is huge stress on your vagus nerve. And if you are a typical American and you carry any amount of stress, most of us do, just by, work, and having a family, and, having social obligations, like life in America is pretty stressful, then you are like in a state of stress that really deaccelerates vagal tone. Like, it just takes down the vagus nerve, because that's a level of stress that's not normal to be hit with. And I'm talking COVID layered on top with typical American stress. So what happens with the vagus nerve is it can't any longer, and this is what happened to me, it can't any longer regulate things. So you have tachycardia. I had AFib every day in February. It was terrifying. Like, my heart was going into distress, no joke, every single day, which is why this is emotional, because the last time I wore this outfit to film, you guys didn't even know, but like later that day, just because of 20 minutes of filming data, my heart went into distress. Like, it was freaking scary time. Whew, and I'm so thankful I'm out of it and I'm alive and I get to be here with you and Wes. Like, I am so grateful just for life. It's unbelievable.
And I'm curious, just really fast, during that time, did you have any symptoms of depression, anxiety, stuff like that? Was that kind of like mixed in there, or that's something separate, you think?
I mean, I was living a really joyful life. Like, I was at the top. I had just hit 100,000 on YouTube. We had just moved to Scottsdale. I was like really excited for life. And that's why, like, I don't really buy the narrative that it's just stress and it's just depression and it's just childhood trauma. Like, I don't buy that. And it's crazy. As I read this, 600-page book on the history of electricity that pulls in like 600 plus studies, there's footnotes and footnotes and footnotes, studies that have been removed from textbooks because technology must accelerate at all. It doesn't matter the risks, because there's parties that stand to profit massively when we have a booming technology era. So in that book, I read all these symptoms that included depression, high anxiety, reactivity to stimulus, which I had at a super high level.
And that's
when
what
all
I
this
meant.
was happening.
It's a symptom. And I wasn't saying it's a cause. I'm saying, is that a possible symptom?
And that was actually, this book shows that Freud reclassified all of those symptoms, which were originally contributed to the people that worked on the electrical lines that first had all these symptoms. So Freud came along and reclassified all of that as a mental condition. And that's when electricity, because we had this weird dynamic where a lot of people weren't affected by electricity, but some really were. And the people that were affected were the same people that could predict the weather. Like their joints hurt when it was about to rain. Those people had so much trouble with electricity. So that like, and we never found out why, which is crazy. So that's why you hear a lot of this like, oh, it's in your head because I'm not sick. Well, you're one of the non-conductors of electricity. So that gets really crazy. But like I had a lot of joy and I'm like, I was rejecting all of that because like I'm living a really happy life. I'm loving what I'm doing. And then suddenly my health gets hit this hard. Like there has to be more than just this is a psychological condition, which I was told at one of America's best clinics, the Mayo Clinic. And I was told that Lyme disease comes from voodoo witch doctors. I was told that by one of the best clinics in America. Are you kidding me?
Wow. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the reason that I brought that up is in 2020, shortly after 2020, was the first time that I experienced these weird symptoms of depression. And at the time, there was a lot of stress. My business wasn't going too well because of all the import issues and stuff like that. And I remember getting into like a depressive a period with some ruminating thoughts, anxiety, stuff like that. And again, it hits in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that vagus nerve, based on what you're describing, you know, basically controlling a lot of that, like the nervous system, the adrenaline, all that stuff. I wonder if it's somehow, or maybe for certain people, related to those depressive symptoms or anxiety symptoms or anything like that. Have you heard anything about that?
100%.
Okay.
Yes. So that I've seen, I don't know, have you seen any of the Facebook groups? I don't know if you're on Facebook, where there's hundreds of thousands of people suffering with long COVID. Like these groups, oof. Yeah. So they talk about like just massive feeling of doom, impending doom. I had that last fall and I also had a lot of hair fall out. And I was just like, oh, it's just stress because I'm doing so much. I really brushed it off. I didn't pay attention to early signs, which I wish I did. But would I've even known how to help treat this? Because, wow. So that is definitely a vagus nerve thing. And there is a also new invention. The plant spray that I'm talking about, that I talk about on Quantum Healing Mysteries, is a new invention. It just came out in 2021. There's also another new invention created from a company based in Japan and Taiwan, made in the US. The company is PHIX, and they make something just for the vagus nerve. I started it about 10 days ago, and I got to tell you, like it has relaxed my whole body, my whole mind. Like it's incredible stuff. So this company made it out of matured hops. They pulled the extract out of the same plant you use to make beer. They pulled the extract out that calms us down without any alcohol, anything like that. So it's just droppers that you put in water. And the company is, I'll drop it in the comments. You should totally try that stuff, Wes. Like it'll make you sleep too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the name of it.
I am. So the route that I took was because like I had some of these weird, like ruminating thoughts, depression, even though things were going well, I can't complain. Everything's
right.
going really great.
Like,
other than
no
all my hair falling out. That was the only problem. But other than that, everything's great. But
which, by the way, all my hair grew back, so thank God.
Oh, that's awesome. That's interesting.
I have more hair than I've ever had, and we can talk. I got questions about that. I've seen.
But based on some of the stuff that I've been reading, see, I know it fits in with what you're talking about. Like these are all like little pieces that I think we're putting together, but there is part of the thing was a glucose metabolism in the brain. So for whatever reason, the stuff in our blood, the glucose isn't properly taken up into the brain and used for brain energy. And a lot of people maybe have been seeing recently people talking about like brain energy, switching to keto and stuff like that. And keto might help, but again, it seems like maybe if there's an underlying issue, yeah, maybe switching from running on glucose to running on ketones, yeah, that might help, right? Because you're bypassed that issue.
And I did keto for 10 months.
And I bet it helped a little bit, right?
It did. So one of the things going on was the adrenals. So my
Mhm.
adrenals were really low, and like I refused to take the steroid for it because it messed up my nervous system really bad. To where like the depression, feeling of impending doom, like that just got way worse on the steroids. So I wasn't going to take anything for adrenals. So what I did was I was eating 3 steaks a day, Wes, and it was giving me some energy, but still like not even enough to sit at my computer still. Like I had all the nervous system stuff happening, but and I think it did contribute to all this hair regrowth. So there's that.
Mm, and that's the thing. It's definitely there's something about it. The depression is linked to like the areas in the brain lighting up, glucose not being uptaken. You see it in those MRI scans. People with depression, you see it. It lights up less. There's less of that energy. So somehow that's related to the stuff that we're talking about. So, yeah, sorry, go ahead. But the one thing that I've looked at into is going down that ATP route.
Mm-hmm.
I've done some, was it the ketamine treatments for the first time in my life,
Mm.
and that helped. I'm so
Mm.
happy I did that. But again, I don't think that any of those things were attacking the root cause. Do you know what I mean? They all helped
Mm-hmm.
and they treated some of the symptoms.
Yeah.
Do you feel like what you're talking about is just treating the symptoms, or do you feel like it's fundamentally changing, like it's attacking the actual root cause of whatever's happening?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I see questions like, grounding this, like I did all of that. I was outside grounding sometimes for 4 or 5 hours a day because when you put your feet on
Hmm.
the ground, you instantly inflammation drops. And the longer you stay in contact with the ground, like things change in your body with inflammation because it just brings all of it. There's neutral ions that come into play. So what happened was a lot of the things I did, whether it was like I was doing CoQ10, I would do an IV, I would try all these different things, and they just felt like band-aids. Like they weren't addressing the bioelectric situation where it was like, my entire pulse is off. It's off anytime I sit in front of a computer. It's off with any amount, like just getting in the car was a stressor that my body couldn't handle. And I was just like, nothing is addressing this problem. And that's when frequency medicine, it actually didn't make me better at first. Like when you go through, and the plant spray specifically cleans your blood, it detoxes the bloodstream from everything. So when you go through a level at that, like that deep, like a blood detox, what I went through in November was like there was emotional trauma release. Like I was crying for a couple days for like no reason. And when I was like asking my psyche, like, what's happening? It's like, you need to release some grief that has been stored in your tissues for a very long time. And so I was like, okay, we're just going to process this today. And going through that in November, like I'm a different person. I can tell it was hitting me yesterday. I was cutting up a pomegranate. Josh, my husband, who's our CEO now, was explaining this in-depth perspective he had on a partnership we're about to take on. My kids are in the back. One of them's on his tricycle screaming. And I was just cutting up the pomegranate going, for the first time I think I can ever remember, I have complete and utter calmness happening in my brain right now. Like I can follow this detailed conversation, handle the background noise of that really loud 3-year-old, and just keep cutting up this pomegranate. And like, I have peace, I have joy, I don't have any anxiety. Like this frequency medicine, it works from the inside out. It's incredible. And I don't remember the last time I had that happen, just that mental state. And the matured hops definitely have an effect on your, like I could tell, I think day 2, it's a very slight effect. It's not like, it's not a stimulant at all. So you kind of get the opposite of an effect. You get like relaxation, which is what I've been in search of all year because nothing relaxed me. And the things that were supposed to relax and help me usually made me worse. So like, it's incredible to now have this just inside out knowledge, because that's what frequency medicine will show you. Like it'll teach you, like when you start to dive down that rabbit hole, the resonance effect is a great book on this. When you start to go down that rabbit hole, it's like, whoa, we can restore at the cellular level, and we can detox even trauma that gets stored in our cells, because that stuff doesn't just get stored in the brain, it gets stored in the cells. The Body Keeps the Score is a great book on that. We can release all of this. So it's my hope, and I think it's more than possible because it happened for me. It's my hope that as we enter like some of the most precarious times humanity has ever lived in, which is the bridge, between now and AGI, then we're going to be able to learn how to take care of ourselves and have the autonomy, because we're equipped with AI. We have this pocket tool that's like as good as a doctor, if not better. We're equipped, we have the autonomy. And if people like Wes and I can give you the perspective that you don't have to listen to all the systems set up for our protection, really, is that what they were set up for? Or was it governance and control? If you have that freedom and that autonomy to take your health and your future, because there's two parts here. You got to like use AI to liberate yourself from the grind. And then you have to have your health, because I didn't have my health, but I had AI. I don't want AI anymore. I wanted my health. So if you don't have your health, like you really have nothing. So I think like that's one of my main goals, is to help people liberate from the machine through AI, and also like find healing. And we can find incredible healing at the quantum frequency level, because that's the level, like the fascia in our body that wraps around every organ. That's the level that actually stores trauma and memories. And I see someone in the comments like, AI is not a doctor. There have been articles, you might have read these, Wes, where one of the most recent ones I read was a guy that used Grok that was dismissed by his ER, but knew he had
Saved
an
his
organ
life.
failure. Saved his life. He went and showed that doctor what Grok said, and they did emergency surgery on him, and his life was saved. So, doctors, AI, yeah.
Give him a script. He's like, and if they dismiss you, you tell them exactly this. And so he just went. He read the script that Grok gave him, and the doctor was like, "Oh, well, I guess we have to run this test." And I mean, he would have died. He would have probably,
he would have died.
Mhm.
They just dismissed him. And I experienced this firsthand this year. I was shocked because I've been so healthy my whole life. I was doing 10-mile bike marathons in the mountains out here. I was juice fasting, perfect weight, perfect health, except like last fall, my hair was falling out. I lost 60% of my hair, and I had so much emotional stress. And I was just like, oh, I just dismissed all of it. So I had that was like the only red flag.
Just to mention, so you mentioned The Body Keeps the Score. That's a great book. It definitely talks a lot about some of the stuff. One other very interesting thing that I don't remember how I stumbled upon this exactly, but there's on Reddit, there's a whole subreddit for people that do therapy, therapists, psychology, whatever, the psychiatric stuff. And there's this whole discussion where one person goes, have you ever noticed how when people either they have an emotional breakthrough, they tend to lose weight, or sometimes they lose weight and it triggers a whole cascade of like emotional breakthroughs and stuff like that. And immediately all the other people in that field jumped in. They're like, yeah, I've noticed that. And everybody had these anecdotes. And it's almost like it seemed like a lot of them believed that, I mean, when you melt fat, you release it's kind of like the rings on a tree, in a way, because it like grows. So as you're losing fat, there's certain pockets that were formed at a certain time, and you can actually see like certain might have more
Wow.
toxins, for example, depending on where you were, right? If you lived in a polluted city, then the fat you gained during that, you know what I mean? Because it's like as it's getting stored, all that stuff is getting in
Yeah.
there. So the idea was like, if you're losing that fat, you're re-triggering some of the stuff from the past. And again, that wasn't a scientific study. This was just a bunch of people that all independently saw this phenomenon occur. So I don't know. It's just a weird anecdote, but man, it kind of fits with what we're talking about.
Yes. Yes. Wow. And there's some good questions coming in, where,
Uh,
somebody's like, my human doctor can't be replaced. I mean, if you have a great doctor, I'm not going to tell you to stop going. Thank God, because those are rare.
Dr.
So
Joe,
don't take medical advice.
Dr. Joe Dispenza. Any opinion anything about him? I definitely heard that name quite a bit before.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I've heard all of his programs and his books are like selling at all-time record high now. So like he's making a huge comeback. And I think it's because people are discovering the self-healing mysteries that have been completely hidden, like lobotomized out of textbooks. And how do I know? Because I got halfway through medical school and I studied these textbooks and I never once learned that we are bioelectrical beings with fields around our heart. Our heart radiates a field 3 feet away. You can actually read the field of our heart, electrical field. So like, this stuff is crazy. And I don't even know where I was going.
Well, for people, I just quickly looked it up. So for people that don't know Dr. Joe Dispenza, so I guess
that's where I was going.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
he was in the What the Bleep Do We Know, that movie that maybe some people have watched. I watched that. I didn't. I guess he was in there, but yeah, maybe people know him from there.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, why is he making a comeback? You know, that's been really interesting to me. And I think it's because a lot of people are on this journey of many doctors have either completely gaslit them or misdiagnosed them or dismissed them and said, there's nothing more we can do for you, which all three happened to me from some of the best doctors. Like the best naturopath in America lives here in Scottsdale. I went to see him. And after 2 months, he's like, there's nothing more we can do for you, Julia. You have weirder symptoms than I've ever faced. And when I asked him, what do you think about long COVID? He's like, I don't think it exists. Like,
That's
so Dr.
strange.
Dispenza, you know, teaches you that you can use the power of your mind to self-heal, self-generate, regenerate. And I think like we're actually going to need that knowledge more than we've ever needed because of what we're up against. But it's like you have to learn how to remove stressors, how to get that vagal tone back. Because I'm telling you, no amount of meditation would have touched what I was going through because like everything was so messed up. But the spoken word over my body, the belief I was going to heal no matter what I saw, which goes back to the oldest book in the world, the Bible, the Word of God. Like there's truth in that. So if you believe you can heal, you will heal. You just got to hold on to that belief. And that belief is really hard to hold on to when you have like me, I'm 33 AFib every single day in February. Like we bought a 6-point EKG and I'm like, I have no idea what's wrong with me. I would eat a sandwich, immediately go into AFib, horrible chest pain. I'd be bent over and I'd be like, what is happening to me? But if you can use the power of the belief in a better future, and even though this is happening, I know I'm going to heal and I know I'm going to come out of this, that is a lifeline. And a lot of that is what Dr. Dispenza teaches at a really deep level.
I gotta give a shout out to some of your followers, the 365 with some great comments. So I definitely appreciate you jumping in there and kind of just informing us of a whole bunch of stuff. Um, he mentions the AI grid, another creator in our AI space.
Phil, yep.
Do you remember when he disappeared for 10 days? Completely dropped off the map
Did
after
he?
doing. So he used to do similar
Wow.
cadence to me for a while, where he was doing maybe 5 days a week videos, and then he just went hard, and he
Okay, I
went
remember
twice a
that.
day. Right?
Yes.
Remember for a few months, he was going twice a day and then just radio silence. And then he posted a picture of a hospital room and kind of his feet. So he's taking a picture of he's in the hospital bed, kind of
Yeah.
taking the picture of the room that he's in, saying, oh yeah, I ended up in the hospital. He never explained why. But I mean, to me, kind of knowing what I know about this stuff, I'm like, it seemed like what happened is that burnout, whatever it is, put him in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, just it's interesting that somebody brought him up. We'd
Wow.
love to chat with him. I don't know if he does in-person
Yeah.
interviews, but man, I'd love to know what happened in that moment.
And if he's still like going through it, if he still hasn't found answers, because that's where I'm like, we got to help more people. Because what I went through, I didn't have answers. Yeah, I don't know him personally, so I don't know if we got to help him
He's
or
very
check
low
on
profile.
him.
Yeah, he doesn't do too much. I don't
Yeah,
even know
he
what he
doesn't.
looks like. I'm wondering if you've talked to Dave Shapiro. Is there any
Oh yeah,
overlap in what you got? Yeah, like maybe tell us a little bit about that. Like, because he's been going through all the same stuff. Any insights there?
yeah, yeah. And I just want to echo Wes, like, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the
Mhm.
comments. Like, it's amazing. Like, I just can't just to sit here and be with you guys is like incredible
This
because I
is so
couldn't
nice.
do this for 11 months. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So Dave, he's like, he's amazing at just taking his health in his own hands, personal autonomy over this, like figuring out gut microbiome was huge for him. He and I still talk almost every day. One thing that I can share, we haven't really shared this, publicly, I don't think yet, is he and I did part on the Great Decoupling and all of the post-labor economics, because I just, my goal is that we take advantage of the here and now, and we don't hold on to false hope of a future we may not get. Because I've read too much and done too much studying on the rabbit holes that I cannot unlearn from books and information that's like just not even in Google. And to put our hope in an AGI that benefits humanity is a very risky thing that I would not do at this point. And, you know, Dave and I are still friends. And I told him, like, you know, I will be a proponent of your PLE framework. It's the best one out there. There's no better framework. And I'll share it, but I can't like actively write a book and let that be my message, because I want to focus on quantum healing, help people learn about frequency healing, like the truth that's been taken out of the textbooks. And yeah, never thought I would ever want to do that. But after experiencing all of this for myself, and then hearing from thousands of you that are experiencing the same thing and no answers, like, but yeah, Dave's doing a lot better, Wes. He's still going through the pacing, you know, which I have to do as well. If I overdo it, it kind of kicks me in the butt. But just to be able to be out of bed and at the computer, like I was at the computer for 4 hours yesterday. I did a live stream. I did another live stream on my channel, live stream with a good friend that's reaching 1 million people a month talking about turbo cancer. And then like worked on a partnership call, and I did not crash. My sleep was not affected. I still slept 9 hours. Like that was unheard of this year for me. Unheard of. Mm-hmm. And in the comments, I see some questions. So, you know, I reached out to Dave and I'm like, Dave, I've had a total change of heart. Like, and not even change of heart. Like I still care about the same things, change of perspective. Mm-hmm. And that's where he like totally respected it. We had a great, you know, so we haven't even parted ways. We've just parted on that. Whoops. On working together. On that.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm digging into stuff. Like, just tell me to be quiet.
No, we had questions, so I thought those questions were good.
Okay. Yeah. I oftentimes put my foot in my mouth. It seems that yesterday I had a wonderful conversation. We were interviewing a person. We're going to publish the interview tomorrow, actually. Well, I might. I hate to be plugging my stuff on your live stream.
No, please do. I watch your podcast all the time.
So we interviewed, so I mean, some people probably know like what's happening with the interstellar objects, right? So we've recently started tracking them and having enough technology to be able to pick up. So we had 3 so far, right? We had the Oumuamua, right? That was the first one that people were super, it had that cigar shape. People were super freaked out. And then we had 2 more since. The third one, 3i Atlas, will be at the closest that it's going to pass to Earth. Is it tomorrow or 2 days from now? I think within the next 48 hours. So this interstellar object, so from outside of our solar system, that's like just going to fly past us, getting kind of close to, well, close is a relative term, right? It's further away than the sun, but it's pretty close for the distances that we're talking about. We interviewed Avi Loeb, who is, you know, if people have followed this whole thing, he's known in the space because he's like talking about aliens and stuff like that. And anyways, I'm talking about like Galileo and how Galileo was almost burned at the stake for going against the church, the Vatican, because he was saying that, you know, the sun moves around the earth, and like that was a favorite story of Dr. Loeb, and I'm like, yeah, so we got to like support our local heretics, kind of as a joke. Which he took to mean that I'm calling him a heretic. He's like, I'm not a heretic.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I work for Harvard. I'm like, no, please, no. This interview was going so perfect up until.
That's great.
So I'm going to edit that part out. So, but this is just an exclusive for the live stream.
Oh my goodness! I just realized we went way over our time, but it was so much fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love this. Your audience is so great, and hopefully some of the nice people here are also, maybe some of my people are being nice. So I appreciate that if you came from my side, or but this has been a very kind and nice live stream audience chat. So I do appreciate that.
I had so many people that were just rallying around, like they knew I was sick. A lot of people may have not known. I think the people here are pretty much aware, but they were like, oh, I would get comments, oh, this YouTuber's so lazy, they can't even film themselves. And then I would get comments from the people that knew what was going on. And they were like, we're praying for you every day. Have you tried this? Have you done this? Cheering you on, believing there's a better purpose than just laying sick in bed. And the amount of comments I got and the just amount of support I saw from my community was incredible. I mean, it was like sometimes those comments were the reason I had a good day. And it was incredible. And it's also incredible, to have an extension of myself in the avatar and allow that to really like kind of run the show, because I have an AI company. It's what we teach. And to be the proof of the pudding, I like to actually show people you can have a very successful YouTube channel if you set up your clone in a way, and this is really important, where it's not just, some digital generation, but it's an actual extension of you. So like Dr. McCoy is trained on 2 hours of my voice. We've got different footage, of course, me in the Star Trek shirt, which is not AI generated. Like that's a huge reason. But if you set it up correctly, which is really so easy, we have a new tutorial coming out tomorrow on how we did it, like 10-minute tutorial. If you set up correctly, like you can automate yourself out of work, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. It's all in how we look at it. Some people are terrified, like if I'm automated out of work, well, where will the money come from? Well, I can tell you, I've had the most successful business I've ever started out of starting like 13 different businesses in the last decade. This has been my most successful in the shortest amount of time because of AI. So if you're harnessing it correctly, oh man. And if you like doing things humanly, like don't change it up either. Like there's so much like negativity about we've got to do AI, or if we do it, we're lazy, or if we don't do it, then it's going to kill us all and come for our jobs. Like just enjoy your life and use AI to get out of the mundane, and you will win.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for kind of teaching people and showcasing what you were doing with this stuff, because there's a few channels out there, people might be surprised, that are AI avatars, but they don't say anything, right? They don't. You were very like open about it. So I appreciate that. Some people aren't, which is annoying. Or I mean, whatever, they can do whatever they want. It irks me ever so slightly. And I'm curious to the people in chat, what do you think about this as a potential? Would people in chat be interested in starting this as a business? I'm just kind of wondering. The idea of putting out content, for a lot of people, being on camera is a problem. They don't want their name out there. They don't want their face out there. But maybe they have something that they want to share with the world. Is anybody here interested? I'm sure, but like, I'm curious, like, are people interested in this? Yes, people are saying yes. I mean, I assume so, obviously. I was kind of curious because you were one of the trailblazers. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I don't know if you saw Tim from Theoretically Media recently had a female avatar, and then he's saying she might take over my channel because she gets more views than he does. So I just thought that was hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, people seem to be very, very interested. Thank you for your tutorial on the flux. What is it? You sent me the tutorial on how to make.
Yeah, train a flux Laura.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, so I have. So I'll try to go through Julia's tutorial. I went like the first 2 minutes and get some more thumbnail faces. That would definitely help.
All my thumbnails, yeah, YouTube Flux, like the actual image of me. The other stuff is a human designer because I can't. I've tried to get AI to mimic my human designer and it just does not. And he's like, look, I use my brain. I'm taking the science of like what's doing really well on YouTube and I'm thinking through it. And AI is not there,
yet.
with the whole science of it. So like I have a full-time production team behind the channel. It might surprise you how much we pay. It's a lot.
And I was sad to hear that you had your editor passed away. Is that true?
That was insane. 55 years old, 4 kids. Yeah, just died of a stroke, like out of nowhere. So like we contributed to the funeral, supported the family. It was really, It was really crazy. And then he had a VA that I didn't know about that emails me and she goes, "Yeah, I've been doing your last 20 videos." And I'm like, "Who are you?" And so we were able to
Mm.
hire her directly and we didn't really lose any momentum at all. I did not expect that to happen. So, but yeah, that was really crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and I have, I have 2 VAs in the Philippines. They had a super typhoon recently that was just
Mm,
horrible. So,
mhm,
yes, so I don't want to keep you. I know you have to make sure that you're not going too long. I can talk for hours, so I apologize. Thank you to people that are saying we're doing a great job. We really appreciate you. It's
mhm.
really genuinely nice to be able to talk to people that
Yes.
like you online, because not everybody likes us, and there's a lot of mean people that are very vocal about it. So this is really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to hang with the community. I mean, it's been never since I had the chance to do this and to do it with a friend in the space, Wes. So it's been a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Just thank you guys for hanging with us. And if you watch the replay, let me know in the comments too, because I'll be watching those. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I think we talked about some really important things. I know we didn't get to like AGI too much, which I think a lot of people are interested in, but like I would be less worried about 2030 and more worried about what are you going to do right now to
Mhm.
like reclaim your health, get liberated from the machine grind, like utilize AI. I actually have a video coming out in a couple weeks. I was asking friends I know, like, how are you going to utilize the future? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, how can I help change that? And they're like, well, how do I? And I was like, that's a really good question. So one of the videos we're going to do is the actual income streams you can take advantage of if you have nothing and do it all with AI. So we're doing a lot of research on that. That'll be a video coming out in the next few weeks. But
Uh,
like people need this.
Yeah, and from my side, I've been looking more into kind of like what you're talking about, because I can't, like, the avatar and everything else is so interesting. I do want to try to get. Last time I asked Julia for her editor for the videos because he was doing an amazing job, and she's so smart. She said no because
Yeah.
they're hard to
All right,
find.
Wes.
It's smart. I like I said, no, because they're very, very rare. But I am planning to do a little bit more in that field, just to maybe launch a side channel, just to start experimenting with it.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're feeling good and if this is of interest, maybe at some point we can do a follow-up live stream whenever. Maybe just get kind of, if I can pick your brain about what worked, because you had a very interesting thing
Mm.
where it's like when you started, you said it like kind of crashed the views, but then over time it really took off, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're
Okay.
gonna switch cameras here. My
Oh,
camera overheated.
oh no, I'm so sorry. Okay, yeah,
Oh,
this is.
no, it's
I
okay.
feel like it's my fault. I talk too
Probably,
much.
Wes. It's all your
Yeah,
fault.
no.
I mean, you crashed the entire system.
Hey, I'm in the right profession, I guess. It's not a problem if I talk too long.
Oh my goodness. No, no, no. I'm giving you crap. Yeah, we should totally do that. Follow-up conversation. And there's just so much more I think we can help people. It was definitely,
Yeah.
I was one of the first that was like, okay, I'm going to clone myself and that's what you're going to watch. And the only reason I did that was because my health crashed. I had no choice. And what happened in December of 2024 when I launched the clone, and I was like, hey guys, the first 7 minutes were not me. Go watch that again. The last 30 seconds were the real me. And the watch time on that video is insane.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and the thing is, like,
Yeah,
what they say, what is it? Necessity is the mother of invention, because I think a lot of people would have been like, "Oh, that's not never gonna work," but you were almost not forced to do it, but you were like, "Yeah, I better figure
I had no
something out,"
choice.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
wow, I mean, I'm glad you did, because it's
yeah.
working.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it was 4 months of consistently losing viewership. It was
Yeah.
brutal. So I was like, "Oh, no," and I just had no choice. I'm like, it's either the clone goes out or we don't film anything, and I have to. Someone says you can tell it's not Julia. Okay, okay, you guys are aware this is the real me. As long as you're aware of that.
I had a hard,
Don't
yeah, hopefully
comment
you're not talking
there.
about right now. This is like live.
No,
This is
no, no.
as live as it gets, but, I
Oh, it's
couldn't tell.
funny.
I could not tell. I think that the channels that people where they use avatars and they don't say it, I think people would be surprised because it's hard to tell.
Yeah. Yeah. So I told people, right? And so we took some arrows in the back because then they looked for the weird things. Like I have long hair, so my hair was like moving backwards at one point. And
Mhm.
so people caught up, they caught on to that. But then in July, after just consistently putting out really good content, which has always been like, I come from being an SEO content marketer, it's what I've done. So after putting out consistent, really good content, not just on headlines, but like how that will affect our future, which is what I'm good at and what I love doing, then people got used to it. So 5 months later, we had that 10x we were getting last December. We were getting 30,000 new subs a month. So we're right back there where it's like 1.5 million views a month, 30,000 new subs. All of that good stuff is happening. So it's amazing to see like people got used to it. They accepted it. And now they're like, okay, it's Dr. McCoy. It's good to hear you today. And it's like, they know that's the clone. So it's really cool to
Mhm.
see that. Really cool.
30,000 subs in a month for an established channel is incredible.
Hmm.
So my subs are not going up very, very fast. I'm very, very jealous. So, but
You need a clone.
yeah, yeah. No, it's weird because I get the views, but like as I was approaching 300, it really like flattened out. Somebody's asking if we accept emails. What's your take on that?
Um, did you see that, Wes?
Yeah,
Somebody
I shot a note
about.
to AI Grid for you both to say would be interested in the live chat pot. Yeah, whatever. If he's available, if he wants to chat, I'd love to. Um, I think we are cool. I think there was I hope there was no friction with AI Grid and me in the past. Uh,
I hope not me either. I got to research now just to make sure it's not a channel I'm thinking of.
but yeah, no, he seems like a great person. I briefly joined his school thing just to check out how he's
Hmm.
doing. He's probably just keeping a low profile. Maybe doesn't want to, whatever, appear with his face on camera and stuff like that. But he seems like a good person. So I mean, we'd love to chat. He's definitely one of the sort of staples in the space. So
Yeah. Wow. I see his post from 10 months ago. If you're wondering why I haven't been posting, and it's the hospital shot, like you said.
yeah. And that
Wow.
came after that streak of super, like him working extra hard and really spiked his views, and then just boom, disappeared.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, when you read the Invisible Rainbow, I'm like, I don't think it's just stress. I really, really don't. I think it's the invisible radiation that we're exposed to on a massive basis if we're creators, especially.
What if
But
all the YouTubers are kind of like guinea pigs for some project to see how humans, if you create
I
these
would not be
conditions?
surprised. If
I
you
actually
look at
think
like IoT becoming IOB.
how was that? Sorry. I sometimes nod along like I know what people are talking about, but IoT, IOB, what is ionized?
So Internet of Things. You know that
Oh,
term.
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Becoming the Internet of Bodies.
Oh, I don't know that one. Okay. What is that?
Maybe we won't go into that on this channel. But
Oh,
that's
okay.
where, like nano robots, heavy metals, all of that plays into us becoming like human antennas. And
Oh,
somebody says, go in the garden and take off your shoes. I mean, yeah.
yeah, ground. I gotta start doing that. I just want to show people. I just took a view. So this is a giant light that's on me. Three wide curved monitors. I mean,
Oh,
I am. If there's any truth to it, I'm just like soaking up.
you're baking in it.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
baking in it.
dear.
Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna go
Well, I've
outside
got
and.
some salt lamps now. I used to have LEDs there. I've
Oh
traded all
yeah,
of that because those neutralize radiation. Like
interesting.
literally, yeah, Himalayan salt will neutralize that. And then I wear shungite. I've got shungite rocks in the office. Like this stuff, they were like, oh, it's woo woo. It's people that, hold rocks and chant to the sun. But if you look at what shungite actually is and how it neutralizes radiation, like there's science here. So just to clarify. Science does play in. And this stuff's really important. I don't think we realize how important. And I've shared with people, if you feel off, if you feel like weirdly anxious, weird high pulses,
Hmm, hmm.
insomnia, those are telltale symptoms of like electrical sickness. And it's in this book, documented really, really in depth. And so the best way to detox is just like get away from the electrical if you can. If you can't, you're like us, then try to neutralize it. Like unplug Wi-Fi routers at night when you sleep, like put your phone away from your head. Someone says go fully hippie. Sure.
It's nice.
Yeah, I mean, get out in the sun more. Yeah, all that stuff does matter.
I had a family member, so she's in her 50s, close to 60, and one day she's like, "Oh, I'm going on a vacation somewhere." I'm like, "Where?" "Oh, there's this like salt mine." So it's a salt mine, like a literal mine that you go into, and there's no electricity, there's no TV, there's no
Wow.
phones, there's no Wi-Fi. It's underground, and you get locked into your little room, and you just there's not much in terms of entertainment, and you pay for this. But apparently people have incredible experiences, right? Because it's
Yeah,
it's kind of like a sensory deprivation, kind of like no. So obviously we crave
amazing.
that, we miss that somehow.
Yeah,
The human condition kind of needs that, I guess. So I don't know.
yeah. Well, this stuff just became really important because I mean, it's how I healed. And like just to sit here is a miracle. And I still have more healing to do, but just to be where I'm at inside of a month, woo, from where I
Hmm.
was at is crazy when I was stuck for 10 months, like just really, really stuck. And, we're in these homes with electrical wires. We're inside environments that like we weren't created in these environments. If you look at the Industrial Revolution and
Hmm.
sicknesses that arose when the first electrical wires were laid, like it's crazy. So yeah, the hippies are onto something. They really are.
They really are. I mean, we got to incorporate a little bit of that for sure. Thank you to 365. So a lot of the things that they've been saying, I've been taking notes. So Julian Goldie and all those, thank you. So I'm aware of everything you're saying, including some of the stuff you said earlier about kind of AI and the upcoming transition. Like I caught all of that. So I please understand, I'm not ignoring it. We're not ignoring it. I am seeing it. We just, this was a different subject that we were talking about. But yeah, I hearing everything that you're saying, and I agree with all of it, or most of it. Yeah,
Matt Land, what about this one? Give up the screens.
man. I mean,
Yee.
yeah.
I tried. Oh, I had to
I don't,
neutralize enough. I couldn't get away
so
from it.
yeah.
Well, I think this is a good time to wrap in, I don't know, an hour and 20. So I feel like
Oh
we
yeah.
just could keep hanging. This has been so amazing. But Wes needs to go get a salt lamp.
I do. I do. I need a salt lamp, and
Oh,
yeah, I got a one of those sunlight lamps, right? For the because I thought maybe that's the issue, but then now talking to you, I'm like, oh, maybe that's the problem. You know what I'm talking about? I have it off to the side here. The you don't get
uh,
enough sunlight in the winter time. It's
oh
those
yes, yes.
sad lamps, seasonal affective disorder,
Yes,
whatever.
seasonal. Yeah,
So
yeah. Those could be good. I mean, it depends if it's an incandescent versus LED. If it's incandescent, it's definitely better. If it's
yeah,
LED,
I'm trying to
question.
avoid LED. I'm hearing more
Yeah,
that that's an issue as well. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you so much to everybody. This has been absolutely incredible. I hope I didn't annoy Julia too much with all the issues I've caused. So,
I'm just
but
glad it wasn't me by myself. That would have been
yeah. Oh, this was so much fun. This was
so
great,
much
and it was
fun.
fairly relaxing too. I feel like so. Yeah.
Very,
I'm back anytime you want me, if you want me. So I just.
very
But yeah, this was very
random
cool.
text on a Tuesday. Can you join me tomorrow?
I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, why not?
So someone
Um.
will end with this. Somebody's asking, where should I actually start if I'm trying to look into frequency medicine? Like,
Mhm,
maybe
mhm.
you've been trapped like me, like just, I know people have been in the ER 70 plus times from long COVID in the last 3 years with no answers. Like this stuff gets crazy, crazy, crazy. And I don't think it'll get any better from what I'm learning. Like we're just accelerating. We don't have any research on 5G, which will become 6G. The government just shut down 6G research actually last month. There was a department for that. So like we have to be
Whoa.
aware. We have to like take our health in our own hands. So if you're like, where should I start? What should I get? What do I
Mhm.
do? Follow that channel and watch the live stream I did on Monday. this week where I talked with a fellow long COVID survivor, 3 years, the one that had 70 plus hospitalizations, like all the things that could happen to her. It was really terrible. And then her son, who's 20, actually had POTS so bad when they laid him on the POTS table, he died for like 30 minutes. Like he left his body.
POTS, remind me, what is that?
It was actual POTS. So POTS is this, we've had a sudden emergence of POTS.
Postural orthostatic
tachycardia
syndrome. Yep.
So it's when your heart rate goes way up just from standing up, and it's like, you don't really know, like that's a new thing. Never had that. Like suddenly 13-year-olds, college age kids have it. Ooh, yeah. Yikes. So to learn more about all that, Quantum Healing Mysteries is the channel that I started that I did not want to start, but I'm like, I can't talk about all this just here because some of it's crazy. So I'll drop the name of it in the channel. And if you look in the comments and if you look it up, you'll usually see it at the top of Google. So it's interviews, it's frequency information, it's all kinds of information on blood detoxing, like not just treating the symptom, but actually healing from the inside out, which is what frequency medicine does, which is incredible. Incredible. When you learn like the level of healing you can have, it's amazing. So yes, go follow that channel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to check it out as well. I mean, I pulled it up right before here. I didn't watch any of the, but yeah, it looks like you have one interview, a few videos on there. So I'm going to definitely check that out. That's highly, highly interesting. And thank you for people that have stayed here and contributed. Yes. This was really good.
So good. So much fun. Like this is all I wanted, just, to just kind of hang out. Like we're friends. We haven't ever hung out, like me and my followers and my people. Like I don't even want to say followers, like it's me and my people. We haven't ever really hung out. So it's amazing just to be able to do that and catch up with you, Wes, too, because it's been a while.
Absolutely. 365. Yes, we're going to do a music show. I have, sorry, I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but yes, that's coming. Anyways, thank you so much for having me here. I'm going to click the big red button to get out of here.
Same here. I'll end it on mine.
But, or maybe we should probably chat really fast afterwards just to coordinate this. And, but yeah, thank you so much for everybody for being here. Julia, thank you so much for having me on. I think we all learned a lot today. We have lots more research to do, but this was great.
Yes, amazing. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for being here.
Bye-bye.